Jimmy's Jam Box. Keep jamming. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box. We're here and we're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. Now let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
What's up, y'all? It's Jay0zi.
Hello. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about, you know, like where you're from, what you do. Give us that like Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
The Tinder profile. Bet.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in Newburgh. It's like a little bit south of Portland, about an hour down. Been making music for a few years now. Been making clothes for about a year. Been doing about a little bit of everything for my entire life. I'd say that's about it.
Hell yeah. And what got you into music initially?
Man, I've always been really into music since a young age. It was something I was like really attracted to, you know? I feel like it was something I could really resonate with, like personally, from a young age. And so it was always something I like wanted to do, something I felt like I could express myself with.
Okay. And like, were your parents musical or like have music going on a lot, or are you like first generation musician?
I mean, they weren't really musicians, but my dad put me onto like Fall Out Boy when I was a kid.
Okay.
So there's that.
Yeah. All right. So they at least appreciated music.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you play any instruments?
I do. I've been playing drums since I was in middle school.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Do you play drums for any like bands or anything actively?
Here and there. I did a set with AD with Arlington Drive. I played drums for one of their shows.
Shout out Arlington Drive.
Shout out Arlington Drive.
Yeah, they'll be at the showcase August 29th.
Mm-hmm. Y'all should go.
Oh, hell yeah. And this next question is one that we ask early. We ask it often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite.
I think I might know what you're going to say.
You might. You've seen a couple of the episodes. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
I actually had to spend a long time trying to remember. I went through my CD collection, and I think it was Analog Bubble Bath by AFX, which is another name that Aphex Twin was using before he was Aphex Twin, if you know who he is.
Hell yeah. Yes, very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, shout out Aphex Twin. If you ever want to be on the show, make it happen.
That would be dope.
Hell yeah. And now tell us about the first show you ever went to.
Oh, the first show I ever went to was with my older brother. He's a big metalhead.
Okay.
There was two that were like my first two. I don't remember which one was first, but one of them was Flesh God Apocalypse.
Okay.
Which is like some opera metal. They got like a flute solo in there sometimes and stuff too.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
It's not truly metal if you're not using at least a little woodwind or brass, you know what I mean?
True. But that one was a lot of fun. And then we also went and saw Nile.
Oh, dope.
You know them?
Yeah. Yep.
They're from like Sweden, right?
I don't know where anybody's from.
They're from somewhere over there.
Yeah. But their music is dope.
Yeah, no, they were a lot of fun too.
I bet that was a rad show.
Yeah, they were sick. I feel like that really set the tone for the way that I performed too, going to like really intense stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
I feel like it's where it came from a little bit.
That makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this next one's kind of a little bit more of a dense question.
Yeah.
Do you have a defining moment where like you knew music was something you like wanted to do more than just a hobby?
Man, I think so. I used to have this friend. He passed, unfortunately, a couple of years ago, but his name was Dean. Mm-hmm. There was one time me and him took mushrooms, and he played me this one song that was like a remix of this like hyperpop digicore song. It was called Roblox Core.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit was life-changing.
Damn.
Honestly, I heard that and I was like, I need to make something like this. Because like the energy that it had was like nothing else I had ever heard before. Probably because I was on mushrooms. But also the song is really fucking cool.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. All right, now let's go ahead and dive into you as the artist.
Okay.
And we're going to get the easy one out of the way. How'd you pick your name?
How'd I pick my name? Well, my birth name is Josiah.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to shorten it.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, it was just for the music, but I decided I like it better than my birth name, so I just started going by Jay0zi.
I dig that. Hell yeah. And now let's go through your writing process.
Oh, okay.
And I specifically want to focus on how do you, like, when you get inspired to make music, what are the things you do in the beginning to start a song? And then what decides a track is done?
That is a good question. I feel like a lot of times I don't know when it's done, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's a much harder one to answer.
Yeah.
But like
yeah.
what like, let's start at the beginning. What starts a song? When you get that inspiration, when you get that bug, what are the first things you do?
Well, I'd say it depends. It's different depending on the song. I've done it different ways, but usually it'll start out with, I'll just like come up with a little one-liner or something, maybe a couple of lyrics in my head while I'm like out driving or something, and write it down. I always like to get like as many just little things that go through my head down as possible, because you never know what you're going to end up like resonating with later on and wanting to use.
Yep.
So either I'll have like a little lyric or like something that's on my mind that I'll want to put into some music, or I'll just like have a beat and then just listen to it, see what happens. I feel like a lot of the time it just kind of like happens, you know?
Yeah.
It's more just like something that I'm thinking about, and then when the inspiration strikes, it hits, and I just do my best to like capture it and then make something out of it, you know?
Hell yeah. And then, like I said, when you have to put out a song, when it's finally time to like press it, what are the things you look for?
If it has good energy behind it, if I think it'll make people laugh, smile, you know, get their head bobbing a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Or if it's something that I think is like really like something I want to like get out or express. I think that's the two things I go for with my music, is like, is this going to make people like feel good, have a good time, or is it something that's like from the heart?
Okay.
And if I have one or both of those things, then I'd say it's good to show to the world, you know?
You know what? That's actually a really interesting answer, because we get a lot of people who say things along the lines of, oh, you know, like when everybody's vibing with it, or oh, when I do it for me. And they always follow it up with the, you know, like I'm writing music for people to experience, or I'm writing music for me.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of people who say both.
I think it's important to have both. It's, you know, one is more of an introspective thing and one is a more like expressive thing.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And I think when it comes to putting music out, there's nothing wrong with writing for other people and yourself. Like a lot of people stand behind the, oh, I only do it this way, or oh, I only do it that way. Like, do both. Like, it's cool that you can have songs for you, and you never know which songs are going to hit with people that you don't think will.
True.
Like, this is a super obscure example, but Chromeo has a song called Mama's Boy, and it's like a doo-wop track, like flat out. Like, and the main guy, Dave One, he was just like, dude, I'm not feeling this. And his other guy, P-Thug, was like, no, trust me. No, trust me. And now everybody goes rowdy for that track. Like,
that's what's up.
There's just something about it that just clicked with everybody that listened to it. And now it's one of their favorite tracks to play live because everybody just goes wild.
Damn.
Yeah. So, like, even though it started as a, like, no, trust me. Like, even though it started as a 50% request.
Yeah.
He pulled his, I'm pulling out my 1 extra percent card to make this a thing. Like, those things can happen. You never know what's going to touch people.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like a lot of times, almost all the time, you're your own biggest critic.
Oh, always.
Like, when I was first making music, I didn't even really show people until like a year after I was already doing it, because I didn't think the stuff I was making at the start was all that good. And then I started showing people, and they were like, what the fuck? Why isn't this out on the internet? Like, why haven't you been showing people this? You know?
A lot of, I think, especially early on in music making, a lot of people don't look at the fact that everybody listening is only listening for the first time most of the time. You know what I mean? Like, every time you show somebody, they don't have that trillion of hours of ear time that you've spent. They don't know that the compressor on the snare is actually 3 compressors chained in certain ways. Like, you know, like they only hear the finished product, and their ears hear sound different. They know how to listen to sound through mediums different.
Yeah, and they've just got a whole different life experience from you, you know? Their interpretation of what you're saying could be completely different than what it means to you, but mean just as much.
Exactly. They could even be people who don't listen to lyrics, so they're just listening to the music. They could care less what's being said as long as it's a vibe. So, like, I think, I try to say this a lot on a lot of episodes, but the most important thing you can do with music is to put some out.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
once it's out in the world, you can see what the world does with it and grow from there.
Yeah.
And if you're like, I don't care what the world thinks, then it doesn't matter if you put it out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you know, you
exactly.
don't have to put out hundreds in the beginning, but you always have to be progressing. People like the progression.
Exactly. They can like follow along with
Exactly.
you as time goes on.
And your OG fans are going to love you from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, your core group is going to support you in the beginning. It doesn't matter if you spend $1 million on a song. The 10 people that know you are going to respond to the first one.
Yep.
Like, unless you spend $10 million on advertising, but then you lost money.
Yeah,
Then, like,
that's true.
you didn't make the money that was worth it in the beginning. You could have spent that time growing your art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, why spend your time worrying about all that when you could just be like having fun and having a good time and like putting it out there? You know?
Exactly. All right, now let's move on to the next question. And this one's, again, a little bit more of a dense question.
Okay.
Out of your entire discography, so of all the music you currently have out, which song do you think represents you best as an artist at the moment?
Oh man, that's a tough one.
Yeah. And you can't pick a song you're currently working on. Too many people try to slide that in. Obviously, there's always a better one on the way.
Yeah.
But, like, what's a song that, like, really speaks to you?
I think it's kind of funny because like lyrically, it's just a bunch of nonsense. But like energy wise and attitude wise, I would probably say Groupie,
Okay.
if you've heard that one.
Yeah. And what is it about that track that, like, stands out?
I think I really like that. It was one of the first songs that I made, one of the first few songs, but it has like a little bit of like a goofy energy to it. It's not taking itself too seriously. It's really energetic. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite songs to perform.
Hell yeah.
And it's just like, I can get so into it, you know, when I'm up on stage, just like screaming and shit.
Yep.
It's awesome.
See, that's also a solid answer. I think it's a lot of people don't take the time to attach their live performance to the experience of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like performing is honestly one of my favorite parts about music.
I think it
Right
should
next
be
to making it, you know?
I think it should be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I think you should be able to appreciate and endure the process in the ways that is presented. Like, you know, everybody is different. So obviously this is not a blanket statement.
Yeah.
But, like, I think as long as you can enjoy the process enough to get you to the stage and then enjoy the stage, that's the formula for success right there. Then it's just putting the pieces together.
Exactly.
But you gotta love all the parts of it. Even on the parts you don't love, you gotta love all the parts of it.
Yep.
Oof.
Uh-huh.
Oof.
You get the whole package if you're signing up for it.
Oh, yeah. And actually, that segues really well into our next question, which
Yep.
is tell us about either your most favorite or the wildest show you've ever performed. Or if you have a story for each one, you can tell both.
I think I just got one.
All right, go for it.
It was one of the worst shows I've ever played, but
Oh,
also one of the best because it was one of the worst.
okay.
It was an intermission for a drag show in like a bar, and it was all like middle-aged white women in the crowd. And the drag show was awesome. The people there were cool, but I went up with a few of my friends. It was Arlington Drive and Zeke and Mookie, or it was just Terminal and Zeke and Mookie.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, shout out Terminal, shout out Zeke, and shout out Mookie.
Shout out to all of them.
Yeah.
Those are some of my best friends in the scene.
Big fans of big friends of the show.
Oh yeah. But this show, they didn't know what they were getting themselves into, and we all went up just like going hard, yelling. The song we were doing was pretty aggressive. It's a banger. It's a lot of fun, but not for old white women. You
Fair.
know, they
Fair.
weren't really the target audience.
I was gonna say, you got to know your audience.
Yeah, but I think that show, because it was like not the reaction that you would usually look for in a show, they just seemed a little bit concerned. But the fact that
These boys okay?
yeah, that we were kind of getting like some funny looks and stuff. But I think the fact that we still like went up and did it and gave it our all and had a good time, like I look back at that as one of my best shows because it's like, you know, I didn't have a big crowd backing me up. Like I was a little nervous, I was a little anxious and all that, but I still like went up and had fun and gave it everything. And that's just what I try and do at every show now.
Hell yeah. I think there has to be a moment where you learn that there is an audience that's not your audience. You know what I mean? Like once you learn that thing, then you can plan for it in the future. But until it happens for the first time, you can't. It's an unknown.
Yep.
But that's one way to learn about it for sure.
Exactly.
All right, now before we move into the next round of like the next series of questions, tell us a little bit about your clothing brand.
Oh, okay. So I started making clothes, it was about last May. Originally, I always kind of wanted to make clothes. I thought it'd be cool. I was always sort of interested in fashion. I thought it was a really great way to express yourself. Originally, I had just been like doodling on little like sticky notes. What I would do is I would like take some white out, put little designs, little patterns, and then just like draw over it at this one job I had. And eventually I ended up having some stuff that I thought was pretty cool. And I showed a couple of my friends that were doing like graphic design, or like they were making clothes, and I was like, hey, check out this stuff that I made. I might want to use something with it. And I had a bunch of designs I was showing them, but there was one, the Jay0zi, the devil logo, if you see my clothes, that one was the one that really stuck out to them. And they were like, you don't even need to use all these other designs. Just use that one. And then just like do what you can with that. Because, you know, that's a whole logo right there. You know, that's all you need. And then that kind of mentality really bled into me making clothes in the future. I was like, I don't really need to do all of this different fancy stuff with like a bunch of different logos and all of that. Yeah. I like getting creative with what I have, you know, the resources that are available to me. What can I do to like push them and make something new out of them?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Now, what are some of the like, for like anybody starting, like for some, you know, because like I imagine there are a few other people that would probably be into it if they don't do it already. What are some of the things in the beginning that like you wish you had known sooner?
I would say just like try it, you know, just start, just do it. Even if you don't have any clue what you're doing, it can't hurt to like give it a shot.
Hell yeah.
And honestly, a lot of the times starting something is harder than like doing it, you know?
Yep. Now I get that. The last real question I have, and I don't exactly have a format for this question, I'm just going to kind of freeball it here. But like, what is the interaction like when it comes to like modeling your clothes, like putting them on people to like show off what they look like for their first time? Like what, can you tell us anything about that? Like just the whole world. It's a concept to me that's so like, it makes sense, but at the same time, you know, I'm so far on the outside. I only ever wear cool shirts from either local artists or big bands. You know, I'm one of those. But like, when it comes to like putting it out there for the first time, displaying it, if you would, showcasing it, like what goes into that? What are the like thoughts that go into it? How do you present it?
I think I definitely have a little bit of a different way of approaching this than other people would, I would assume.
Yeah. Well, what's your way?
I think I really like having it be a big community aspect, because a lot of times with fashion, it's like you come up with this whole like series and it has this aesthetic and like a vibe and like all of these different themes and motifs, and you find people that like fit this like vision that you have. But I just like making my clothes about the community and like about the people. So the way that I have people model my stuff is I'll just go out to shows and talk to people and meet people. You know, if I have a shirt that might go with their outfit, you know, try it on, take some pictures. Why not? Yeah. I have done a couple of fashion shows a ways back, like last year. And then it was the same thing. It's like my goal with clothes is I just want to get like people involved and get it out there and like, you know, have it be inclusive. Everyone can like have a share, have their piece of the pie, you know?
Hell yeah.
I think that's something I really enjoy about the scene here, is that, you know, it's all pretty DIY. We're all just doing our own thing with like the people that are around us, with what we have, with the community. And I think that was something that I really wanted to like express and kind of capture with the way that I, you know, approach clothes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Now let's go ahead and move on to some hypothetical questions.
Oh, okay, that's fun.
And the first one, like I said, I know you've seen a couple episodes, so you're probably prepared for this. But if you could work with any one artist who's currently alive, and if it's a member of a group or band, you have to pick one, who would you pick?
Man, I don't know. Who would I get on a feature?
I mean, you just have to work with them. It doesn't specifically have to be like that. It could be any way that you want to work on music with or around, or any kind of thing. But yeah.
I don't know if it would even really be an artist, but I would just love to like talk to Rick Rubin. You know him?
Yeah.
I think he is like a really amazing figure in the music community, music scene. I always thought he was really interesting to me. He's not like anything like other people. He's like a shaman of like producing and like making stuff. I feel like I would want to talk to him.
Hell yeah.
Just like go out for lunch or something. We don't even got to work on a song. I just like need some wisdom, you know?
You know, sometimes that's the best way to like learn the things. Like, I don't think a lot of people take the time to like discuss the philosophy of music as much as we could.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that can go into it. I've definitely, some of the coolest stuff I've ever learned about music, I learned from talking about music. You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
I think being an artist is more of like a lifestyle and a mindset.
Yeah.
And that is something that he's definitely like a big proponent of.
Very much so.
You know?
Now, there's usually a follow-up question to this, but I want to throw in a bonus one.
Oh, okay.
And just because we were just talking about it, who is one like fashion designer that you would work with if you had the opportunity?
Fashion designer.
And again, they have to be alive.
Oh, okay. I will be honest. I sort of follow fashion and like fashion houses and like the stuff that's happening, but I really don't know all that much about like actual fashion.
Okay.
I just like making the stuff.
Okay.
I don't even know if I could like name a big designer that I would think I would like mesh with, you know?
Fair. Is there a local designer?
A local designer. There is some pretty cool people around here.
Oh, okay.
I gotta say. But man, I think my answer would have to be everybody.
All right. Hey,
I work with everybody.
I love that. I love that. Nothing's off the table. And also, I mean, I don't see why there's any reason why everything had to be off the table. You know what I mean?
True.
I love that.
Where even is the table?
There's one right here. No, okay.
That's true. But
for those of you at home, you can't see, but there's a coffee table right here.
He's lying.
Oh, I'm not moving the cameras. Trust me. Now we're going to go back to the originally planted question, which is there a local artist that you're currently aware of musically that you haven't gotten a chance to connect with, but you would like to?
Somebody that Zeke just put me onto. I don't know if they're local. I think they're from around here, but this artist Critter, they're doing some really cool stuff.
Super familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing them on like my Instagram reels a lot lately, and I like a bunch of people have been getting put onto them lately. But their music's really dope.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's a solid choice for sure. Shout out Critter if you want to be on the show.
That'd be a good one.
All right, now for this next one, this is a fun one. Have fun with this one. Literally, sky's the limits. If you could perform anywhere in the world and you didn't have to worry about crowd access, building stability, power, sound, everything was going to be taken care of regardless of complications, where would you perform?
Man, anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world.
I would think I would want to do like something like I don't know if I would actually want to do Burning Man, but something like Burning Man.
Okay.
Like some real like hippie type of stuff, like out in the desert, and everyone's like taking their like vans out there and like camping out and stuff. I feel like that would be a vibe.
Hell yeah, I dig that. I've always wanted to perform at Red Rock.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. What do you think, Jimmy's Jambox Red Rock? Let's go. All right. Now this is the last of the hypothetical questions, and this is again a little bit more of a broad stroke one. But if you had to pick a completely different genre than any genre you've ever performed before, so if you've even done like a blend genre song, both of those are off the table. But if you had to pick a completely different one, and you would be equally as good as your dominant style now, what would you pick?
I'll make some country music.
Okay.
Because I think that's the last thing that I would think to make. But I would make country music and just have it be like country music, but the exact opposite of country music at the same time. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny? That is probably the most recurring answer.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I still need somebody to put it in the comments. Go tally up how many times everybody said it and throw it down there. But no, that is the dominant answer.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which is funny because a lot of people are not like country fans.
Yeah, I used to really hate country music. I came around on it. I can get down, hold down a little bit, but
somebody put it well, and I wish I could remember who said it. Somebody on a past episode said this. But they said country music is written for the people that want to listen to it.
That's very true.
And I was like, damn, it's such an obvious statement, but it hits.
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, right? You're like, damn, they do. But at the same time, I'm not a big country person. I have like maybe 5 or 6 songs that I like vibe with, and 2 of them are like old Garth Brooks. But like, I've been to a couple of country concerts because I'm just, people like it, and I love concerts. They go hard. Like, even the lawn seats are just losing it the whole time. Like everybody's singing. The stage, they have like 10 people on stage with them. There's pyrotechnics. There's 1,000 lights.
God.
Like it's such a coordinated event.
Yeah.
And it's such a performance. You know what I mean? Like there's just so much going on that even from far away, it just looks like this grandiose event.
Yeah.
So like I can respect the get down for sure. The like stadium country, like yeah, it may be made for the venues, but god damn it, it hits for some reason.
Yeah, it does.
Like
country people know how to party, dude.
They know how to party. I mean, they're half the reason we have tailgating. So
True.
thanks.
True.
Sports and country music.
Yeah.
All right, but we have officially reached the end. We're gonna start wrapping it up. Can you tell us what you got coming up in the future? Say like mid-September onwards.
Yeah, so I've got a song drop, and then I've also got a little EP, a little tape coming sometime soon. Once I polish everything up and get it together. But I'm gonna release that, and then I've got like years worth of music just in the backlog that I've been waiting to put out, and I'm just finally doing it at this point. So.
Hey, T-Pain did it with Everything Must Go 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Those are some of his coolest tracks.
True.
Yeah, big fan. All right, now for this next one, go ahead and look at the camera and just tell people how they can find you.
Y'all can find me on Instagram and Spotify and SoundCloud at Jay0zi, Jay0zi.
Hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout-outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Shout out to everybody that's watching this. I love you, and I hope you have an amazing day.
So the more people that watch it, the more people that get shouted out.
True.
Layers. I love that. All right, now we're going to go ahead and close it up. We've got one more question, so I'm sure you're ready, but I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
All right.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And now for the final question.
Let's hear it.
What is your guilty pleasure song?
Probably some Taylor Swift. I got to be honest.
Okay.
My little sister is a Taylor Swift fanatic.
She's a little T-Sweezeler.
Yeah. She's like a little bit obsessive about it, but I think it's awesome. And I've just heard some of those songs so many times that they just get stuck in your head. They're like good, well-written, like pop country music.
There's definitely some science behind a T-Swift song.
Yeah. Definitely like the older ones, though. The older T-Swizzle is my jam.
I have to say this now. I miss the old Taylor. Yikes. The internet's going to hate that one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go ahead and close things up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. All right, we're going to get up on out of here, y'all. This has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Jay0zi.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap. This is not a podcast. This is a show. Keep jamming.